So you are Jackson, and you are instructor of FPV drones operators for Defense Intelligence of Ukraine. So explain, please, what are you going to show us today, and what is this all about? How does it work, and how does training process of drone operator works? So the training process definitely starts with selection of future drone operators. We analyze psychological types, we analyze military background and education, and definitely their involvement and readiness to get new information, and set of skills and knowledges that we are going to give them. Is this your specific role? Yes, because this is extremely important. Because these guys have to realize that it's not just only flights. Nothing about just took the drone, figured out how to fly it, and that's it. No, this is communication, this is coordination, teamwork, and knowledge how to speak and how to communicate with friendly reconnaissance units. Different imitations of combat exercises. Is this really teamwork? Because when we see these videos, usually one guy flies and that's it. It looks like really a simple job because you just need to operate and control this. It's definitely supposed to be a complicated job and definitely teamwork. Definitely. All about FPV, FPV work, FPV weapons is precisely, definitely teamwork. Like first guy, second guy, third guy, etc. And at least your group's supposed to be 5-6 guys. And what do these guys do? First guy is operator that operates with drone. Second guy is navigator. Third one is communication guy. Fourth guy can be the operator of reconnaissance Mavic drone. If we, for example, need to use Mavic as a repeater carrier. In the cases when we have terrain specifics and we can't use remote systems. And fifth is the guy like Hunter. He provides 360 security and situational awareness for all the group. So he just covers guys' backs, right? Yes, his responsibility is to provide security for the group. Okay, what do we see today? Let's start with, for example, FPV drone. So this is classical 7-inch drone, training one. But what's the difference? Why is this training? So the difference is that it doesn't have initiation device. So some technical issues, right? Yes, technical issues. Also we have the dummy charge here. But in general, what do you usually use? I see dummy here, but it in reality would be a RPG, right? Yes, it would be RPG. What is the weight? The weight in the combat would be 350 grams. Is it the maximal weight that this can carry? It can carry more, but the maximum weight shouldn't be more than 1 kilogram. Yeah, if we need to carry more than 1 kilogram, like 1,400 or 1,500, then we take 10-inch drone. There we would see more solid and more powerful engines, and definitely we will need to use more, like bigger battery. And this extra weight would definitely influence on other parameters, like distance, like possibilities to carry weight of charge, and anything like that. This is a 7-inch drone, and it's supposed to hit targets on 10, 11, 12 clicks. Is it its maximum distance capabilities? Yes, it's standard working distance. But if we discuss distances more than 15 clicks, then we sure start to use 10-inch type of drone. And this type of drone can carry more weight of charge because it has more solid engines and propellers. Tell me please something about the speed. If we discuss distances about 10 clicks, what would be the speed average speed of the drone? So what time will it take to make 10 clicks? It all depends on the conditions. How are you going to get close? What is the task? Is it moving target or stationary? There are no standardized mathematics calculations about that you need something like to move 10 clicks during 10 minutes. So it depends on target, operator, and task. So practically it's some kind of mechanical work, so you don't have any type of program that guides the drone automatically, right? All dependent on level of skill of operator and his navigator that leads him. What's that? Can you explain me? We call this remote system. I'll explain you why do we use this. Nobody in combat environments operates drone with a direct connection between FPV and goggles, because it's possible to be detected. This is not safe. Then these grids where operators show up started to be shelled by artillery. What is the main purpose of this remote system? The main purpose of this system is, first of all, safety. You can see that it has wire till antenna. We can stay in the safe covered place. We assemble antenna as far as we can from us, and also we use very high tripod to make us sure that we will be able to deal with terrains and hills, because terrain can create a lot of obstacles for operator. Do you mean the problems with the signal? Yeah, it can be possible that on the very high altitude you can have very good connection, but then when you try to go around the hill, the connection can be interrupted and you lose the drone. The influence of terrain is huge for operator job. Why? I'll explain you. Let's use an example. Let's imagine that we have a hill in a distance 4 clicks. The height of this hill is 20 meters. Our remote system gives us advantage in the height 9 meters. There is an enemy behind the hill. Even if we have best of the best remote system, but we will never be able to make it 20 meters height. So in these cases we use Mavics that carry repeaters. And this Mavic transmits the signal from our drone to our remote system, and then through remote system to the goggles of our operator, and also provides the stream on the feed for the navigator. So this screen is used only for navigators, right? Yeah, sure, this tool is for navigator. Okay, let's describe all tools that we see here. For example, this is goggles. This goggles for operator. The main task of operator is just to fly and operate drone. The main task of navigator is to guide operator using digital map. So he provides him grids and markers on the terrain. So he just helps him to find the path to the target, right? And operator leads the process when they hit the target, right? So operator leads the process when he changes altitude, when he flies nearby the target. But the navigator's main task is to help operator to get the drone from point A to point B without any issues on the way. Okay, tell me something more, please. Let's roll back a little bit to discuss the drone. Can you explain me how this system of initiation of explosives works? Okay, then let's make a little bit break, and I'll explain you from the very beginning how the basic RPG grenade works. If you will just tape the RPG grenade to the FPV drone and try to, on a speed, put this RPG grenade to the target, it will not work and there will be no explosive. That's why we need to use some types of initiation plates. And some of them are assembled to stack. Stack is a flight controller chip. And through flight controller we can assemble it to the one chain and to press the button for creating an explosion. So you just press the button and switch on the charge, right? Yes.
Okay.
For example, if we need to blow up the charge on some short distance before hitting the target, for example, to cover much more space by fragmentals, we just press this trigger down and we will have the charge detonation on the distance. But you mean it's about a couple seconds before hitting the target, right? Yes.
Розрахувати швидкість і удари, і це дуже важливо. Скільки
How
відбувається
long does it take to become a pilot? For example, could I become a pilot? But it's incorrect to say pilot. Accurate is operator. Of course, you can become a pilot, but it's very hard work. And what type of skill set should a candidate have? For example, how did you start your career? And why did you start to do this? The will. First of all, will of victory. But did you like the technology on the very beginning? Yes, sure, I liked it because it's really cool. This is, first of all, the weapon of future. Some of our colleagues were a little bit skeptical on the very beginning of large-scale invasion about this. But in the result, it showed a very solid coefficient of efficiency on the battlefield. And everybody realized that we should start train more operators that will be competent on using this type of weapon to understand engineer piece, like charging, creating piece, remote systems, controllers, teamwork, working with digital maps. So how long does it take to go through training from the very beginning? If we discuss the whole cycle of education process that consists of theoretical parts, then going through simulation, training, using PC, then you go through practical course when you do very lot of flies on the small scale terrain using 30-inch drones, 7-inch drones and else to get a lot of practice experience. So you start from something simple, right? Yes, and then we start an open range training part of the course. So all this cycle takes about 30-40 days in total. And it's almost impossible to short this period of training because the result and the level of skill set would be totally different. Can you describe a little bit more your training methodology? You told that you have some your own principles of training process. We don't teach just to fly. We teach how to use these remote systems, combat remote systems like this one. We teach how to use antenna repeater systems. We provide training in engineering. We teach how to use initiation plates, safety protocols. Also, we give the skill set of using digital maps and Kropiva situational awareness system. So it's not so simple how we see in the video of hitting targets, yes, when we see the result. The entire work is organized on the backstage, right? So definitely the very focused and well-organized coordination between operators required for giving this result. Explain me, please, one more thing. What's the difference between operator skill set of DJI Mavic drones or Autel drones and skill set of guys that operate FPV? What's the difference? I'll explain like this. This is the same how if I would compare a sport bike with a bicycle. And what's the bicycle and what's the bike here? FPV is a sport bike and you have to be trained and get a very lot of practice of flying for even touch this stuff. So what the difference exactly? So there are no stabilization systems here, and there are no some tools or some application that help you to use this drone. So everything is about your skill set and your habits and your practice of fly. So you're on your own, yes? So there is nothing about return to home button, yes? You do everything with your fingers, right? Yes. This is about skill set of operator and navigator. So we prepare our operators to ability to fly, to understand what the remote system is, how to work with initiation plates, with how to prepare charges. Also, we teach them to be navigator and how to be a navigator. So how to be first, second or third guy in the chain. Our training is entire cycle. And at the end of the course, you have finally ready fighters that you don't need to train them during the combat operations. How to prepare charges, how to deal with remote systems control, and how to prepare repeaters and assemble it to Mavic. That will help us very lot to deal with terrain. Can you please also tell me a little bit about returning of this type of drones? Because when Mavic operators use drones, they can push the return to home button and make it back. But if I understand, with these FPV drones, they're like a one-way ticket, right? Of course you can, yes, and with a charge on it. There are two types of FPV drones. The first type is bombers. This is also FPV, and it has the same size, but its main task and purpose is not to fly like suicide kamikaze mission to the target, but to carry the charge and drop it. This type of FPV drone can be returned, and there are different procedures how to make this process safe for operators. To prevent detection of our positions by enemy's signal intelligence. We have specific methodics how to work it out properly. But in most of cases, you work it like one-way ticket, right? So you have like surveillance, you understand where to send it, and then it goes, and then it doesn't go back, right? In 99% of cases, nobody flies anywhere just without any information. So you have like intelligence pre-operational, right? Of course, at least we do reconnaissance with Mavics. We do reconnaissance procedures before the operation. Also, we try to study enemy's behavior, what they do there. Then all this data is put together like some kind of mathematics, and then operator starts to plan his mission and flies and hits the target. Let's discuss something else. For example, from your experience, like what cases did you have? Tell me please a little bit about what kind of armored vehicles can this FPV drone hit and destroy? Can we mention something about this? This type of, let's call it L size of drone with specific type of charge can hit and destroy tank. Oh, let's discuss tanks a little bit. Tell me please, so if you hit tank, is it supposed to be some specific place in the tank that you are going to hit, to destroy it? Of course, tanks have weak places. For example, rear side, the place where engine is. Also, sometimes we try to hit them to their like barbecue system, this metal grid that I started to put on the top of the tank. Also, it can be heated. So operators should be extremely professional to hit this specific target because the drone flies very high speed, right? Yes. Yes, sure. And during training, for example, here we work a lot with students to make them confident in the situation when they see targets, yes, to fly it in the proper way and to choose the place of the tank what will be definitely hit with and destroyed with this specific type of charge. Tell me please also something about jamming and how it works against drones. Okay, if to explain it simply, so it creates a lot of noises for the signal of drones. Do you lose signal or how it looks like? I lose drone controller signal. Mostly they try to cut the signal of controller. It's 90% of the cases. There are different types of drones with different frequencies. And how can we deal with it? How can we avoid jamming systems? Yeah, there are different types of tricks how to deal with this. For example, to shift with frequencies that we use during operation. It's technically very hard to jam all the spectrum of frequencies. So when we do reconnaissance, we try to do some signal intelligence with our devices. And when we realize that some spectrum of frequencies is free, so we just shift the frequencies that can be used on our drones. There are a lot of jamming devices exist. Yes, it can be stationary, it can be remote, it can be. But usually, for the guys that pass the right training, this is not very big deal. They know how to deal with this. So, if you teach guys how to do programming, how to shift frequencies, how to analyze signal intelligence, and understand what's going on in the air, so they can deal with this. Let's discuss other question. So you mentioned that it's very common for people think that operators flying and he just sits and flies, but it's not like this. You're first of all target, right? And when you start operate and you will be detected by the enemy, so enemy will start hit you with artillery, with this all the weapon system that they can, right? How does it usually happens? How it's going on? A good FPV team and even middle level, not very famous FPV crew is the high priority target for the enemy. Why? Because of coefficient of the effectiveness of this weapon system. Everybody realize what destroy can create this weapon system, not only for personnel but also for armored vehicles. So that's why it's extremely efficient and it's target number one in the battlefield. Okay, but how can we detect the operator FPV team in the battlefield? How it's organized usually? Usually it's done by signal intelligence, but we also can do this. Specific equipment is used for analyzing the frequencies, and you just try to find some operator that flies. Almost everybody fly using analog frequencies, and it's very not hard to detect it, and it's not encrypted. So it's quite easy, right? Yes. Do I understand right that our guys and Russian guys, they use pretty the same equipment, the same drones, right? How to say? So we are much more advanced and better from technical perspective. Yes. But they have much more lot of this, yes? Yes. How to say to you, let me guess. So, okay, they have very lot of drones, they have very lot of operators, but our operators much more trained and our drones are more high quality. Also, our guys are more motivated. And everybody remember that the main target, the main prize in the war can be enemy's operator team. What is the role of FPV drones during this war and this time? It would be not a very secret that this type of weapon system is one of the main and core that used for assault operations, for hitting armored vehicles and artillery systems of enemy, for hitting targets on the very long distance with surgery accuracy. And this weapon system shouldn't be underestimated, no way. And the importance of this weapon can be represented by the amount of armored vehicles, the personnel destroyed from the enemy side.
Нами врага.